Gautam Mukherjee, do you think over the scope of the next 5 years, and we can only be speculative because like I said, a week is a long time in politics, but let us say that a prime minister of a country takes a major foreign policy decision and he says, look, I want to extend a handoff agreement and do a historic deal with the president of the United States. But some ally back home who just hates the United States of America, they don't have a problem with China. They won't even call the Chinese war with India a real war, okay? That's the truth, ladies and gentlemen. Ask them about what happened 62. You'll find the answer there. But do you think Narendra Modi on foreign policy, domestic policy, will constantly be looking over his shoulder or not?
I don't think so. I don't think this is going to happen. In the initial stages, Bihar and Andhra Pradesh will be looking for benefits. Once those benefits arrive, they will make certain sounds that have to do with their constituency. But I don't think they will try and interfere with the direction that the country takes. And the foreign policy of India has changed considerably from our socialist days, from our non-alignment days, even though we practice a kind of national interest form of non-alignment, if you like.
Yeah.
And I don't think that anybody, I won't count the people on the other side of the aisle. They'll pounce on anything and everything, I'm quite certain. But on this side, on the side of the allies of the NDA.
So let's talk about taking responsibility then. Narendra Modi is taking responsibility to become Prime Minister. It's a privilege, it's power, but with it comes responsibility. Right. George Kurian, are we expecting that Rahul Gandhi will take on the responsibility of being leader of the opposition in the Lok Sabha?
Taken the ownership from leading from the front. We all saw, how Rahul Gandhi took the Bharat Jodo Nyaya Yatra to get to the ground level and to understand the pulse of the nation. Having said that, I really object to Ms. Gargi saying that, in West Bengal, Mamata Banerjee, she is really clueless, as to how she could win 29 seats. I would like to reiterate and reassure the audience that, it's because of the governance model that Mamata Banerjee has for the state of West Bengal is the reason why she has won. So you don't need to doubt the intent of, how she has won and why she has won.
No. Let me put the caveats. The people of Bengal in the Lok Sabha, as after the assembly, have voted for TMC candidates. And let's be clear, some of those TMC candidates are not even native Bengalis. Yusuf Pathan is not, Kirti Azad is not. So they have voted for Mamata Banerjee. They voted for Mamata Banerjee. So let's give her credit that she's got the votes regardless. Similarly, 240 seats have been won by the Bharatiya Janata Party. Let's give them credit and not call it a moral defeat of some sorts. So let these moral victories, moral defeats be get lost. But my question was, Rahul Gandhi had the opportunity over the last 5 years. Adhir Ranjan Chaudhary was sent. I don't think any in the Congress is shedding tears that Mamata Banerjee has disambiguated Adhir Ranjan Chaudhary from his seat by bringing in a boy who has come in as a cricketer from Gujarat. So why did he not take on? Will he take it on this time? Responsibility.
But Rishabh, I have no doubt whatsoever in my mind that Rahul Gandhi will take up this position as a leader of opposition and lead from the front. And in the coming days, we will see, how he raises issues that concerns the people of India at large. Okay,
Manasvi, what do you make of it? Do you think Rahul Gandhi is going to finally take the leap, actually take up a post?
I think he should, and he will be taking a position because this is largely a long time due for him to take a position as LOP or before being a cabinet minister in the past when UPA 1 and UPA 2 were in Sarkar. So I think it is his due. So while walk the talk of Bharat Jodo Yatra has been successful for him in terms of getting 99 from previous lows. So I think it is more important for him to showcase and speak up in parliament so that people would understand what is his vision all about. So I think it is very ideal at a very apt time for him. Because after this moral victory of Congress, it is important for him to come to the parliament as a LOP, make statements, criticize the government where it is needed and take the country forward. It has to be a collaborative thing for the country, but I think it is important for him to take a position now.
So now Alok Mehta, is this a different Rahul Gandhi at least? Is he by taking the yatras with a slightly improved performance? I know it's only slightly improved because if you told Indira and Rajiv that the Congress is winning 99 seats, they would have been shocked because it would have been a historic destruction of the Congress party. So do you think Rahul Gandhi is a bit different today?
Rahul Gandhi, at least he got the confidence because of the victory in the Raebareli seat, and especially the support he got, the 99 seats. That's why he is talking like this. But you know, Rishabh ji, first time I have seen a person in the Congress party, if Congress Working Committee decided, never happened. Since Mrs. Gandhi raised in 71, 72, I was following Congress party, covering and meeting those people, leaders including Rajiv Gandhi, Sonia Gandhi, Indira Gandhi. First time it's happening that after this resolution, announcement by the party, and they said, okay, I am going to consider it and then I will tell you. He's a disciplined soldier of the party. Forget about what we want to fund. Earlier, when he was not joined in 2004, mother was telling me, or the journalist also, okay, decide what he will decide, then you decide. Then there was an approach that he should be joined as a cabinet in the minister. Oh, if I will sign something, then corruption charges will come.
Do we give him credit that, despite all of it, he is hung on? Let's give him some credit also. It's not easy. You lost your father, who was literally blown up into bits. It's not easy. It's not easy to be sitting at the funeral of your grandmother. Maybe it doesn't come naturally. It didn't come natural to Rajiv either. When he had to bring himself and into the governance of the country. It's not easy. Do we give him some credit for at least trying, for at least doing the yatra, for doing the walk, at least taking some advice, bringing together, showing some leadership, just attending the rallies? He might not be as proficient as Narendra Modi, but do we give him a little bit of his due now?
Certainly. I have sympathy because I travelled with him with Rajiv Gandhi days when he was a Master Rajiv and baby Priyanka. So I have sympathy and psychological also, I always mention, because he lost grandmother. But you have to take responsibility. After 20 years in the parliament, Nyaya Yatra, certainly he did well. From Kanyakumari to Kashmir, he went there. And that's why he learned. But going in a luxury, he should have followed the Chandrasekhar Yatra, who was also from the Congress party originally, and how he did Yatra.
Okay, let's jump in. Okay, because there are two ways of looking at this, ladies and gentlemen. The rest of it is going to hear opinion now. The one way is that the third term of Narendra Modi, because they've not made it, and the first time ever Narendra Modi is in government in the head seat where he doesn't have a majority. He didn't have that problem in Gujarat. He's not had the problem at the national level for the past 10 years. So does it change things? Let me get Gautam Mukherjee back in. Gautam Mukherjee, because the contrarian argument is, no, Narendra Modi now has got nothing to lose. He's 72. He's already made history. His position in history is set. Now he's going to go for broke. He's going to double down. Do you think one nation, one poll, UCC, all these things are going to happen rapidly, or do you think they're going to happen slowly now?
I think all of them are going to be put on the shelf. Anything that needs cooperation from across the aisle will not be taken because it would be foolish to do so, and it will just create chaos. And that is just what a 230 plus opposition is looking for in order to get back into the game.
Okay,
but
so no.
If you work on the basis of majority, whatever you can do on the basis of your own majority, you will work very smoothly and the rest will be a lot of noise.
Okay, all right. Rajalakshmi Joshi, focus on the less controversial aspects and let the opposition, the opposition can find a problem even on stock markets these days. Or do you think that no, double down and go for broke on the big things like UCC, One Nation, One Poll and all the others?
Yes, definitely. I think that PM Modi will definitely focus on all that he has in mind because, see, he has already spoken about the 100-day plan and also a 5-year vision. So all of that is completely in place. He has already addressed this entire future cabinet. So he definitely knows what he is doing and he has had all these discussions even before the alliance was made. So with the alliance partners, it's not as if they are jumping into something they don't know about. So the difference between the India alliance and the NDA is that the NDA comes with a clear vision of what they want to do.
Okay, no, but
so
let's not kid ourselves. Let's not kid ourselves. Chandrababu Naidu on your screens, he just landed in Delhi, exiting the airport and heading, of course, I'm assuming to Andhra Bhavan, after which he'll be heading to the Rashtrapati Bhavan. Ladies and gentlemen, Chandrababu Naidu's priorities are not at the center. He's not a national level politician. In that sense, he tried to become one. He did what Nitish did. There were 2 or 3 people lobbying a year and a half ago to lead an opposition alliance. Chandrababu Naidu was one of them. In fact, he was the first off the start. Nitish Kumar is the one who set up this India alliance, but they refused to make him convener. So he said, thank you very much. His problem was not with Lalu, it was with Tejaswi. we all understand politics well enough to understand what is going on there. Chandrababu Naidu has a plan for Andhra Pradesh. He built Cyberabad, he made Hyderabad into a tech city. He now needs to go and build Amravati. He might have some concerns on national issues. He has specific concerns about how they impact Andhra Pradesh, but pretty much that's it. Nitish Kumar has got all his challenges as well. Let me quickly get Alok ji back in, then Ms. Roy back in. Alok ji, do you expect the serious issues, UCC, One Nation, One Poll, the really difficult ones like GST, okay, like 370, do you expect them to be shelved, or do you expect, no, Narendra Modi is going to go for broke in the next 100 days, just you watch?
Not 100 days, but you see, yesterday also he spoke about it. He met former President Kovind and said, because there is already report there, and he wanted that the parliament and other forums, we have to discuss, because he also accepts that this is a complicated issue of the one nation, one election. Same thing with the UCC, because he wants maximum work, but after, and he is also hoping, and we also hope, and we wish that the parliament should work and discuss on such matters for few sessions.
Okay.
Because this is out of the right. And then before 29, other decision about the POK, what he will do, then he don't need any other support from outside, inside.
Okay,
Everybody
I'll
will
take quick last thoughts from Ms. Roy as well. Ms. Roy, do you think that the big ticket items, and we know what the big ticket items are, they have an indirect impact on India's stability, growth, progress, but not a direct impact? It's very difficult to say UCC is exactly economics and GDP. Do you think they get shelved because of the result, or do they get doubled down on?
I think Mr. Modi will continue with it. UCC and One Nation, One Poll, maybe this time with a consensus. He will discuss. He may not just announce it one day. There will be discussion. He will take the allies into confidence, and they will be convinced. As I said, they're
not going to be convinced. They're unconvinced about stock markets going up and down. Okay.
No, not the allies. I'm not talking about the opposition. The opposition, with 234, they will add to the nonsense value in the parliament. We have seen how they did not let the parliament function last time. I think that you can expect this time also, because number is more with 234. The nonsense value will be more. But the allies, I think Modi ji will be able to take into confidence his allies, and UCC and all will be brought.
There have been things that have been enacted and executed in this country, despite how it's looked, that have required, the GST Council works on 10% consensus. Okay. Yeah. All the finance ministers of the state decide what the GST Council does. They set your rates, they decide what goes into which category, what rate that the GST Council does. It works on consensus. Okay. The fact that GST passed had to be done, despite people not showing up and boycotting midnight ceremony and this and that, had to be done by consensus.
Right.
Aadhaar implementation required consensus. Okay. Every stakeholder of every state had to be brought in. And a large part of that Aadhaar team's job was just making sure there was political consensus in this country. So consensus has been achieved, can be achieved. George Kurian, do some things get shelved, or do we expect, no, Narendra Modi goes, what have I got to lose now? Let's go for it.
Well, Rishabh, it goes without saying, things as far as Modi 3.0 is concerned, I really believe, and I strongly sense that, things are not going to be easy for Modi as far as this third term is concerned. There will be a lot of compulsions, and there will be a lot of forgiveness that he will have to undergo, and because it's an alliance that he has to look up to, and he have to live up to their expectations, and things won't be that easy for him, as I said, because it is not. Okay. They haven't crossed the halfway mark on their own. That's the 272 figure. So things are not going to be looking very easy.
They're going to be different. They're going to be different. So like I said, there are 2 points of way of thinking. Either it can be fundamentally different, and you just now, your job is to make sure the government survives and do what best you can with it. Or you got nothing left to lose. It's your third term. Is Narendra Modi going to be contesting for a fourth or fifth term? No. How important are the next 5 years for the Indian economy? Some would say crucially important. If you have to go for broke, when do you? Do you keep holding back, or do you really go for broke, and then politically jo hota hai dekhi jayegi? You have to now understand that those are the 2 points of thought. Let's find out. We'll find out in the next 2 months whether it's happening at what pace, because this is not the first term of Narendra Modi. The first term, ladies and gentlemen, you have to understand how Delhi works, how the appointments get made, how the bureaucracy works. If you've ever worked in a company or run a company, just a new person comes in, it's not easy getting things together. That applies to anyone. It applies to any leader. Somebody who's not English educated, in the Delhi schools and very well acquainted with how the environs function. There have been some things that have not gone well for the Indian economy. Demonetization was one of them. There are some things which are fundamentally important to do. GST was one of them. So let's not kid ourselves. Narendra Modi in 2.0 got a lot done. But there is one thing which is important, and I'm going to pick it up. I'm going to thank Ms. Roy. I'm going to thank Alokji for joining us on this telecast. We'll have them back later in the evening. Let's hop across. Let me introduce Dr. Bagai into this conversation. Professor Madhav Nalapat also joining us. Pratim Bose also joining us. George Kurian is staying on with us. There's something fundamental and let me get Professor Nalapat in on this. Professor Nalapat, the argument long held that the economic decisions of policy which you take bear dividends 3, 4, 5 years later. That the good work that was done in terms of what Vajpayee put together bore dividends to the credit of Manmohan Singh. This time around, whatever Narendra Modi has done as Prime Minister in the last 5 years, he gets another 5 years to double down and improve upon them. Do you think that the base of the last 5 years has been sufficient enough to create a momentum?
Rishabh, you need a strong foundation for policies that are, if I may say so, that are more seen as more pro-people and people-friendly. And that strong foundation has been laid during Modi 1.2 and 2.0. You'll recall that the last budget of this government, presented by Finance Minister Sitharaman, there were no tax cuts at all. In GST also, let me say, I doubt any opposition party is going to stand up and say, no, we oppose a fall in the GST rate. I don't think that's going to happen at all. So frankly, Rishabh, now this government has built enough of a cushion for itself to ensure that some policies get followed that are more, if I may say so, voter-friendly. The Modi 2.0 was very disciplined. The fiscal deficit came down, the revenue deficit came down. Now there is enough space to ensure that there is a loosening of that particular rope. And more importantly, Modi 3.0, as the Prime Minister himself said a few days ago, is looking for a massive influx of fresh investment into India because of the reality of Cold War 2.0 and many companies shifting from China. He answered a tweet by the president of Taiwan. He knew very well the Chinese are going to see, red. They're going to be apoplectic when they read that tweet. Unprecedented that it happened from an Indian Prime Minister, and it shows Prime Minister Modi is focused on the big picture.
Okay.
Taiwan is going to be a major tech partner of India.
Okay, but Professor Nalapat, then, because there's certain things which have a direct economic benefit and the others are indirect economic benefit. If you increase women participation in parliament, it has a large economic benefit, but you can't, pursue it in terms of what is the investment coming from this. No, you have to look at the larger picture. UCC, one nation, one poll, all the other matters. Do you think energy is available to be spent on these matters, and are they important enough in the economic impetus of the country?
Rishabh, so far as women's representation in parliament is concerned, my suggestion would be, and I've said this many years ago, that you have a certain number of two MP constituencies. That is the one MP who gets the highest number of votes, and the other will be the woman candidate who gets the highest number of votes. And if there is a woman candidate who gets the highest number of votes, then they get 2 MPs instead of 1. But you can do representation without really upsetting the overall structure and without creating dissonance. I think the way to do that is not, frankly, switching constituencies and changing them every few years, so there is no stability, but ensuring that a given number of constituencies are multi-member constituencies. These are all experiments in democracy, and because it is women-friendly, again, I doubt that any opposition party is going to seriously challenge it, because it will ensure that women come into parliament without any of the existing MPs getting upset. If they get a majority in the next parliament, they'll be there. And so will the highest voting, the highest votes polled among the women candidates.
Okay. All right. Okay. Let me get Dr. Sanjeev Bagai into this. He's a completely apolitical person, ladies and gentlemen. I'm trying to get different perspectives in this, because in the end, it's everyone's government. Okay. Dr. Bagai, now, what do you want to see happening? from this government? What do you want to see urgently happening, that this is a top priority regardless of all the politics? It's already happened in the past 2 months.
Hi, good evening, everyone. So just as a fundamental base, I think the foundation has been very, very strong in the last 10 years. India has made rapid progress. Just allow me 60 seconds as a common neutral person who's a common tax-paying, extremely loyal Indian citizen. There's a huge sense of nationalism in India which was missing. I strongly feel that. India has gone leapfolds as far as manufacturing industry is concerned, roadways, airports, infrastructure is concerned. Our defense is much better. Our borders are more secure now. Education-wise, in terms is almost double the number of institutes. The medical institutes, medical seats are doubled. COVID management has been fantastic. I mean, it's a par excellence, par course. Unforeseen event, beautifully managed. The vaccine drive has been one of the largest, 5th economic power in the world. The Article 370 and 35A, I don't think any other government in the last 60, 70 years even had the courage to even discuss this. There have been no major scams, at least visibly. The triple talaq, the concept of all religions are same. There should be no freebies. One country, one law. And of course, the Ram Mandir, the Ayushman Bharat, the largest health insurance scheme, unforeseen, and the direct bank transfer of accounts. And of course, no one wants to talk about it. It's such a small thing. Mr. Modi has brought a concept of toilets right in the forefront. These are very small things peripherally, but these are huge things mattering to human beings. What I would like to see is continue exactly the same. There will be cacophony which is going to die down and fall by a side. There are going to be people who are going to keep raising slogans. There will be a little bit of obstructions in the parliament, does not matter. I think Mr. Modi is focused. He's a person who is a great leader. He's iconic. He's tall. He means business. He makes his ministers work. He will get consensus within his own team, which is 303. And the peripheral part, which is 240 odd and things like that, I think they will crumble themselves.
Okay, Dr. Bagai, but would you as a citizen prefer that focus be on the obvious deliverables? Obvious deliverable is sign a deal, this much investment comes in, and the focus comes on GDP. And the less obvious things, the 370 is a less obvious impact. The Ram Mandir, and if it brings some catharsis and healing touch, less obvious impact. UCC, less obvious impact. Now, anybody who understands anthropology and political science will tell you more women in government improves healthcare, improves education, improves budgetary spending, improves parsimony with the budget. But that's a sociological understanding. It's not a direct investment in terms of these billions of dollars, but it's important. Are these other things, one nation, one poll, equally important for you?
Yeah. So if you ask me the 5 takeaways which I would want in the next 5 years and continuing for the next 50 is improving and further improving, I may add, health and education in India. Point number 2 is increase the infrastructure and manufacturing capacity of India. Point number 3, which has not been highlighted in the first 10 years of Mr. Modi, is please bring attention towards climate control. Let that be forefront, because that's going to hurt the globe. I think climate control is extremely important. I want a huge impact on sanitation and toilets and clean drinking water. And last, most importantly, as one small part of an entire health gamut is till the last mile deliverable of antenatal care.
Okay, all right. Okay, so now Pratim Bose is with us on the broadcast. Pratim ji, there is more than a fair chance. It's not, nothing is obviously perfect, but there's more than a fair chance that when it comes to housing, sanitation, water, electricity, and road access, we are about for the first time in our history to hit 100% saturation. That everybody has a pakka ghar, has at least bijli, sadak, pani, and that is sorted. Won't that itself be a major achievement regardless of who we credit it for?
No, undoubtedly, if we look at it, particularly the Modi 2.0 has been outstanding. Forget about the election results. That is, a transition. Let us not forget that Atal Bihari Vajpayee government has lost the election of having started the revamping of infrastructure in this country. But the social issues, electricity was almost handled in the first thing. I mean, taking it to the doorstep, but in the second term, it has this has further been consolidated, and it is our electricity sector has changed forever. The railway electrification, unseen, but it is a big thing. It will add to the speed. The frequent that's a unseen thing, but it has done, and the basics, as you said, like food, drinking water, and electricity. These are very basics. Those 2000, I remember the MP election slogan of Bijli Sarak and Pani. So these are obviously done, and it is now time to move ahead. The poverty level, the abject poverty has been at its historic low. So we now have to address the relative poverty.
Okay. So what is your definition then? Because we'll have to ask people other than Narendra Modi this. What is your definition of Viksit Bharat? Because I've asked the Prime Minister this, I've asked people of the BJP this also. They say that definition is that once abject poverty is gone and basic needs are met and an aspirational civilization, the people who work hard are able to achieve their dreams because they've got their basics. That's the first step to develop India. What is your definition?
Couple of things. First of all, see, I was listening to your discussion in the previous part. Andhra Pradesh, you have rightly said, Chandrababu Naidu's focus is rebuilding his state. Now, Andhra Pradesh, he built the IT industry in the United, the Andhra Pradesh in its previous form.
Correct.
In its latest form, Andhra Pradesh needs to be industrialized. I'm sure he is looking forward to bringing in a lot of PLI and the new generation investments. So one way of looking at it is spreading the industrialization map. In India, it has been very narrow, restricted to 6 or 7 states. It should spread further. It should be more nationwide. That is one way of Viksit Bharat, because that will create the down under chains. The second thing is the social issues that you were saying. See, we have created education. Enough now a huge see, all these years we have been struggling with the number of doctors versus patients. Okay, now this gap is to be breached, but there is still a big thing to be done, that is to bring down the cost of medical education, which will reduce the cost of healthcare.
Okay.
For more such videos, subscribe to the NewsX YouTube channel, hit the bell icon.